Welcome to the Armchair Fantasy Football Podcast. Here are your hosts, DJ Marcotte, Jake Cookson, and John Soroyce. Enjoy the show.
Draft Day! The Hangover.
Oh my God.
It was good you backed up for that.
I definitely don't have any earwax in my ears anymore. That's been cleaned out by John's very loud voice. Hey, welcome back, guys. Welcome to the Armchair Fantasy Football Podcast, the working class podcast. We are the Blue Collar Ballers. I'm DJ, and my Twitter handle is @ArmchairKingpin.
I'm John Soroyce. Mine is John2977.
What about you?
I guess we're introducing ourselves
we're
now.
doing- yeah. Well, John kinda
Cookson
jumped
at
in there.
Jake Cookson.
Yeah. Lame.
You won't forget it, though.
You can also email us at armchairfb@gmail.com, which we highly encourage. If you guys must have questions about your upcoming draft or trades that people may be sending you. So if you have them, send them to us. We want to answer them, and we want to get interactive with you guys. John, how's the Instagram going these days?
Not too bad. Probably got about 6 posts on there. I'm going to get more posts up there as video comes out more. So get that glued up on there. So
Glued up, huh?
get some shots there. I mean, it won't be full videos because you can only post so much time there, but it's
All right, that'll be
steadily
fine,
growing.
John. You got to stop the rant, Jake. We all love John around
You can't
here,
ask
though.
him about Instagram.
I know, and
then
he's just like,
he
Insta-Google.
wanted like a 7 second. He wanted you to plug for like 7 seconds.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, just quick
Instagram's
hits.
going great.
Thank you, John. Well done. So, you know what else we've got going on right now? We're on YouTube, guys. Did you know that?
Yeah, I know.
It was merciful once it finally happened, and my wife did a great job and had to listen to me whine and cry about how long it took. So she's going to teach me so she doesn't have to listen to me whine and cry anymore. But she did an excellent job. It's definitely a rough cut. It's not the cleanest, it's not the best, but it's our first try. So
Well, that was like the full thing. Don't they call it like the editor's cut or something? Where you
The
get
director's
the
cut.
director's cut.
that's the director's
Yeah.
cut. Yeah, we went.
we gave you all of it.
It was just, as I watched some of the footage and saw my face as my daughter almost destroyed my camera, and Jake's face when somebody hit the air horn. It was pretty
You
fun.
can't hold me
I'm
accountable.
like,
for that.
I can't take this stuff out. We got to keep that stuff
Right.
in. That's what makes us the Working Class Podcast and the Blue Collar Ballers. So it's pretty fun. It's it's the draft day episode.
Bless you.
We had a blast. There's a lot of energy in the room with upwards of 30 or so people drafting, having fun, intense. John and I definitely had the best team, and we're going to talk about all those teams today. And this is the Hangover edition. This is the sequel of Draft Day, and we're going to grade everybody's team, so that should be pretty fun. But before we do that, let's get into some news.
Okay, news. Antonio Brown's saga continues. He leaves camp, he comes back to camp. It's one thing after another with Antonio Brown. As it looks right now, he's good to go. He's found a helmet. I don't know what kind of helmet, but he's all in. I guess I'm trying to think of Mike McCoy. No, not Mike McCoy. Mike Mayock, I'm sorry. Basically gave him an ultimatum. You're either all in or you're all out, and it looks like Antonio Brown is all in.
Good. Just play.
Maybe?
Just play. It's that simple. Just show up.
There's so much going on with him, I can't even keep up with it. So I guess wake me up when he's actually there for good.
Yeah.
Wake me up when week one comes around and he's on the field. By the way, just to throw it out there, this show is filmed before a live studio audience. We have my son Andrew Marcotte here, and then way in the back we've got Braylon and Caden Soroyce. John's kids are here as well.
Say hi, guys.
You guys make some noise. Is that it? No, make some noise. Make some real noise. There we go. Andrew's the oldest and had the weakest
That's okay.
roar there.
I know, he was like, hey.
He's a cool teenager. He doesn't need to make noise. Anyway, thank you, Andrew, for covering the video for today as well. So continue, John. I just wanted to represent
In other
the
news,
kids.
DK Metcalf needs minor knee surgery. I don't like the word surgery in there. I don't know about you guys.
Well, what do you think? What does this mean to you? I mean, if you're drafting tomorrow.
I think all initial reports point to him playing week 1, but there's nothing in stone saying that he will. The only thing I can think it's just a cleanup procedure for his knee, so Pete Carroll's doesn't seem worried, but if for some reason, I would say week 2 at the latest. But it looks like a cleanup procedure for his knee.
Yeah, it didn't sound like it was anything that was going to hold him out significant time. So I wasn't too concerned. Draft him where you were.
Yeah, I mean, a little nervous, but like I was, John and I were talking about this yesterday. Are you starting DK Metcalf from week 1 to 4 anyway? Probably not. So you can sit on him anyway. It's not like you're going to start him right out of the gate. So you might as well give him time to heal. I agree with Jake. Draft him as expected or as planned.
Okay, next bit of news. Julian Edelman spotted in warm-ups. He's actually been taken off the PUP list. He is actually practicing, so it looks like all systems go for Mr. Edelman.
Yeah, for now. I'm so worried about a guy that's, 33, 34, and playing in a role that gets the crap beat out of you all the time. I hope that he holds up because he's a great player. But, man, I'm scared about that. And now they've got Gordon there. They've got N'Keal Harry, which hopefully people aren't forgetting about. I know Jake didn't. He sniped him from me in Sunday's draft. So I like Edelman, but hopefully he can hold up. And maybe that's why they have those guys, is to kind of take a little bit of pressure off of him.
I feel good when I make picks and immediately within the first week DJ tries to trade for that player. It's like, yeah.
That's a good offer.
That means
man.
I did a good
That was
job.
Mark Andrews for N'Keal Harry. I mean, that's a good offer. And
Yeah.
who's your tight end?
Someone better than Mark Andrews, so it's okay. Trey Burton.
Oh, ugh.
You just have like
He's not better than Mark Andrews. You don't truly believe
right
that,
now
do
he
you?
is.
No.
We'll see what happens.
No.
I don't know about Lamar Jackson being able to throw it more than 20 yards.
Well, exactly. So that's why
That's
Mark
why the
Andrews
tight
is
end
gonna
would get, yeah.
feast.
No, they're just going to run 500,000 times.
Andrews can do that too.
Run the ball?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Oh, that's what this season's for, guys. So
What
in
else
other
we got?
news, Darius Geis is actually expected to play tonight in preseason.
Or as Alex Keyrol calls him, Darius Gucci.
Gucci. So, speaking
I
of...
love
boy.
Geis. I love him.
Let's see what happens.
Week 6, roll him out. He's going to be the lead back there. That's my opinion.
No?
Do you have an opinion, John?
I still think the way AP's running right now in preseason, he looks pretty good,
Do
actually.
we want a gentleman's wager on that?
AP versus Darius Geis?
Yeah. Who finishes with more fantasy points?
No.
We got to get to...
No,
okay,
no
well,
wager.
all right.
Okay, carry
All right,
on.
fair enough. Let's keep going.
You don't like Peterson
You
anyway.
seem
so
a little
it's
out of sorts today, John. That traffic you
it's-
got stuck in,
It's been
is
a
that
long
lingering?
day.
Okay.
It's been a long day.
All right.
Deontay Foreman was back. Now he's gone. So
More of the same.
More of the same for Deontay Foreman. We're not going to go into this.
He gone.
Well, I mean, I just hate to write a guy off with that much talent. but
Yeah,
at this point,
he tore his bicep, so
Yeah.
he's good for he's gone at least for half the season.
And somebody in our keeper league put him on an IR inexplicably. Like,
yeah, they signed Chandrick West
Why would you do that?
for his replacement, but here's a guy.
Charkandrick West.
Yeah, they've basically have Foreman's been hyped up for the last few years. These injuries, he's just so injury prone. So I feel bad for him, but
Wah, wah,
yep,
wah.
time to move on.
Next.
Goodbye. In other news, DJ Chark,
Do-do-do-do-do.
most impressive wide receiver at Jags camp.
Well, first of all, he's got the name DJ, and then he's got the other name Chark, which sounds like shark. So how couldn't he be an excellent player? And I picked him up in our keeper league as well. So
Is
Wheels
that how you
up.
draft players based on how
Wheels
cool
up.
their name is?
yeah, man, DJ Moore and DJ Chark.
I'm going to have to find you
Wheels
a
up.
cool name player for next week.
So what do you think of that, Jake? In all
Yeah.
seriousness,
There's not a lot of. I don't think the wide receivers in Jacksonville are supremely talented. I think they're good players, but they're not as physically gifted as DJ Chark
yeah.
is supposed to be. So it's not surprising that they're saying he's looking the best out of those guys. D.D. Westbrook, Marquise Lee. They're like okay. They're NFL wide receivers and they're okay number 2s and 3s, but
But if Chark,
they're not ones.
yeah, and if Chark's the best one, and
I would hope they would say he's the best one.
and you have a deep-ish bench, then I think you go after him, see if he's on the waiver wire for sure. If you haven't drafted already.
In other news, Jimmy G goes 1 for 6 and an interception on Monday night's game, but on top of that, throws five straight interceptions at practice. Any concern?
I'm all set with Jimmy G, dude. I'm not on that train and really never have been. I mean, we've seen good small sample sizes, but they're really, really small. And, one of them was in New England where he was really protected by a good scheme and a good offense. And, what did he start 3 games last year in San Fran too? I'm not even sure the number, but
I think 3 before he went out.
I've never seen enough of Garoppolo to be a buyer on him. I don't know what you think, Jake.
I think he's a game. Sorry.
No,
Jake.
go ahead.
I think he's more a game manager from what I've seen. I haven't seen an explosive. I think he had one decent game. Nothing like explosive, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a game manager so far.
But George Kittle is directly tied to that guy. So does that make you nervous being a George Kittle
it means quarterbacks that are game managers, see Alex Smith, typically target the tight end heavily. So I think it actually, if he's not what everybody thinks he is, I think it actually benefits Kittle more. Awkward pause.
So we'll go on to the next news. Melvin Gordon is just waiting for the call, but it looks like contract holdouts may go into the season with this one.
Yeah, I might have to back off of the stance of that he's going to play by week 1 because for whatever reason, the Chargers don't want to try to help Phillip Rivers win a Super Bowl, and they're not signing him. So
It's just the NFL doesn't look at running backs as a must-have position. Look at what Jerry Jones said. Look at the proof is in the pudding when it comes time for these guys to get paid. Look at Le'Veon Bell. The team said, no, we'll just put James Conner in there, dude. And that offended him. So that kind of led to the year-long holdout. And if somebody said today, is he playing every game or no games? I would say he's playing no games. If you had me decide between one or the other, I would say he's not playing any games. And I don't think you see him until week 6 at best. So if you have Melvin Gordon as a keeper, or if you draft Melvin Gordon, you better get you some Justin Jackson, or if it's a PPR league, Austin Eckler. That would be my advice.
yeah, not good.
John,
Just
what
not
do you
good.
think?
I think you got to get the insurance. We had a guy in our league, Pat. So his first pick after our keepers, he went Austin Eckler.
He has Melvin Gordon.
He
as
has
a keeper.
Melvin Gordon, so it was a smart move. I mean, it's insurance for him if.
I think he could have got him in the
Pause, though.
second round.
Pause on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
First round, there was Damian Williams, David Montgomery. There was another good running back as well, right?
There was a few. Josh Jacobs was
Josh
out
Jacobs.
there.
Those were like the big 3.
He could have got him later.
He
I'm not saying
bypassed
that.
those
Jacobs
guys
was
and-
gone at that point.
Well, but he took Eckler over Damian Williams and David Montgomery. So just because
and James White.
But just because he's the handcuff, those guys are better players. So that's where I veer from the handcuffing. Like, David, if you guarantee me Austin Eckler plays 16 games, I still was drafting Damian Williams. So that's where the...
But you don't get your full car's value when you crash and your insurance company pays you. You don't get the full value.
Right.
You know what
So
I
that's
mean?
the handcuffing,
So it's an
though.
insurance policy.
Right. But why not just buy a second car? Because that's what he could have done. He could have just had Damian Williams. And if Melvin Gordon crashes, he still has Damian Williams.
is a used car at best, I
well,
would say.
sure, but he's better than Austin Eckler, in
So-
my opinion.
I agree with you to an extent. I think he could have gotten Austin Eckler in the second round. I think he could have waited that out and gotten him in the second round and gotten Williams. So he has a used car and a second-hand car, or whatever. You know what I mean? But I also get where he's like, I do not want to take the, like, look at me with Tony Pollard. I got him in, when did I get him? Later on. I mean, probably the 8th round or so. Later than that, probably. But I get where he's coming from, too, is he's like, man, I don't know what's going on with Gordon. I got to have something. But the other question, too, that we haven't really discussed, who's the better handcuff? Is it Jackson or Eckler? I'm not so sure it's not Eckler and it is Jackson. You know what I mean? That's a possibility, too. So, whereas I think Zeke's handcuff is a little bit clearer of a picture in where the heck do they play now?
LA.
I can't keep up with these moves, and I'm getting old. But in LA, I think it's a little bit cloudier. I think you would agree with that for sure, Jake.
Yep.
Okay, next news. According to beat writer from Yahoo Sports, Terez Paylor reports the Bears are in love with rookie running back David Montgomery.
So am I.
That's good because I drafted him in a league. So I like that news.
Montgomery's going to be great this year. I called that a few weeks ago, and I don't think you guys necessarily disagreed with me. And then the other news, too, attached to that is Tariq Cohen's snap count or whatever. What was it, John, specifically?
It's going to
his
be
touches are going to be limited.
limited.
Was it limited or reduced or whatever the word was?
I think it was limited they used was the word.
Well, if it's limited, that's really bad for Tariq Cohen owners.
Well, he turns the offense one-dimensional. They're probably not running when he's in the game.
Right. Yeah. So I love David Montgomery. I call him Monty Burns for a reason because he's gonna turn the burners on this year, and he's gonna truck some defenders, and he's gonna be fun to watch. I think.
Yes. Okay, in other news, Andrew Luck not practicing this
A lot
week.
of news today.
Which is not good because
Is that really news?
it is actually news because it looks like if he doesn't practice this week, good chance that he may not play week 1, and there's actually concern that he's not going to play week 1.
I'm looking at you on this one. Don't you own Andrew Luck?
I own Andrew Luck in 2 leagues,
Ooh.
but I got him at a deep discount. So
Well, that's why, obviously.
I didn't pay a premium price on him.
Yeah.
And I took him as like the 8th or 9th quarterback drafted in both leagues. So at that rate, I had to. Even if he misses 1 or 2 weeks, I'll take 14 weeks of Andrew Luck.
So I think that's the moral of the story. Make sure you get him at a value if you're going to get him. And I've seen this story before with Luck, and John and I were talking about this, Jake, before you even got on the show. There was some stuff going on earlier, and way early before camp even started. I mean, we're talking what, John? Probably April-ish, where there was something going on with Luck. And
Yep.
I'm like, is this the same deal from before where we don't really know what's going on? And I don't think that's the case, but with Andrew Luck and injuries, you just don't know. It's enigmatic. You just don't know what's going to happen.
All I know is the initial news came out, it was his calf. Now it's actually, they're saying his ankle. They haven't not.
Dude, this is like the same story.
But at least
different body part.
calf ankle is, in my opinion, something I think he could play through easier than his throwing shoulder being hurt. Like, if he's a little less mobile, he can probably still throw the ball. But if he can't throw the ball, you can't play quarterback. So that's my hope, is even if his mobility is somewhat limited and he doesn't run as much, at least he can still throw.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
He's a concern. He's a guy that I generally do not draft because he just seems to always have something going on. But, like last year, if he's good, he's real good. If he's out there, you're in great shape. Anything else, John?
Okay, other than that, Rashad Penny is falling further behind Chris Carson.
And his draft price is going lower and lower. Now, I will agree, guys, that it's looking like Chris Carson is separating himself from Penny. But I also would still stick by the fact that I think Penny's going to be a big part of this offense and that Carson will probably get hurt. So the way I look at this, and I also think this might be a little bit of coach speak to motivate Penny a little bit. I think there's probably an element of that. I say draft Carson at a value and draft Penny at a value. I wouldn't reach for those guys for sure because I think both of them have question marks. Right now, if you get Chris Carson right out of the gate, you're probably going to be in pretty good shape with him.
Yeah. Chris Carson, yeah. I agree.
Okay,
Is that the end of news?
no, one last thing this is going to
Going
make.
through news exhaustion.
I
here.
told you.
We didn't do news on Sunday, so
Yeah, so this is going to make DJ very happy, and I think Jake, it should make you happy. I think
and
it
I'm a
would make
happy
you happy.
guy.
When asked about Vance McDonald, Steelers offense coordinator Randy Fitchner replied, he will not see increased playing time. He's never going to fully play the game. That's never going to happen. Which this just took a lot of people thought Vance McDonald would see an uptick in targets. Well, this basically says no.
This
He's gonna stay the same.
This isn't really a surprise, though. He's a move tight end, so he's not going to be out there in important blocking situations, which are really mostly the important ones are goal line situations. So this isn't a very big surprise. They do have another tight end that can block, and he's probably going to be out there in those
Xavier
situations.
Grimble.
Yeah, but Vance McDonald, where you're drafting him, well, I don't know. His ADP has been rising. I don't know what you think of him, Jake, but
I draft other tight ends ahead of him.
Yeah,
There's
I'm
just
not
other
really
guys I like more personally. I think all the tight ends in the Vance McDonald area are you're kind of taking a shot in the dark at who you feel is going to have a good season. So everybody knows at this point, I like Austin Hooper. I like Trey Burton.
who he did not get, by the way, guys. I mean, did you get him in either league?
Aaron Ryan. I got him. I did get him in the tag.
Okay.
In the tag team.
But in the keeper league where you really
But in the
wanted
keeper
him,
league, the important league of record,
yeah.
the round I was going to pick him, Aaron Ryan looked me right into my soul and said Austin Hooper.
Yeah. Well, I
no
just want you to
reason.
know that I have Mark Andrews, I have OJ Howard, and Travis Kittle, so just slide
It's
right
okay.
into my DMs.
I got Trey Burton, so I was still
Oh,
happy with
jeez.
that. I like Trey Burton.
He's all right.
I
I don't hate him.
He plays an elite number of snap counts.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I hate Trey Burton.
Right.
But he's not O.J.
he
Howard.
just, well, if O.J. Howard makes it through the season, probably not.
Let's keep this train rolling, fellas.
Are we doing
We're going to do
the
some
questions?
Yeah, we got a few questions. John, are you good with news?
Yeah,
I don't think I can take much more.
I tried to tell you.
But we got to do it. We got to spread the news. So we've got a few questions. One of them from one of our most loyal listeners, if not our most loyal listener. His name is David Kuchar. He's a very good person. A little goofy, but a cool guy. He had a question about keepers. He's got a draft coming up, a keeper league draft, and his keeper selections. The time's up. Time to select keepers in that league. And he said pick 3 of these guys: Melvin Gordon, Amari Cooper, Julio Jones, and Andrew Luck. I think this is an easy one.
two of them are easy. You're definitely locking in Julio Jones and Amari Cooper, I think.
Yeah.
So then it's just come down to Melvin Gordon and Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
If Melvin Gordon doesn't play at all, like we kind of just alluded to, it's kind of silly to keep him
I disagree.
if he's not going to play.
I disagree. I think, John, you can follow up on what I say with your thought process here, but I think it's Amari, Julio, and Gordon easily. I think with the depth at quarterback, you could easily get somebody later. I mean, they're not going to be Andrew Luck, but he's got question marks too. So I think you can get a late round QB. Like my starting quarterback is Mitchell Trubisky in our keeper league, and I'm very happy with that. And I have Josh Allen as well. So because the quarterback position is so deep, I think you go with Gordon, and I think you handcuff him.
I also think the reason why you keep Gordon, it's a higher tier value. Like, so if Gordon, let's say even if he misses 4 games, you can draft somebody pretty decent in a later round, like his handcuffs, I should say, or another starter. And then if Gordon does come back, he doesn't make an impact. He has way more trade value and incentive at a Gordon to trade than you do a Luck.
Yeah.
A lot, like you said, the quarterback position is so deep that a lot of people don't tend to trade quarterbacks unless it is a number 1, 2, or 3 quarterback.
I agree.
I mean,
I don't think it's wrong to keep Melvin Gordon. I don't think it's wrong.
Yeah, but I mean, I know what you're saying. If you,
It's just
it's
not
a
a great
choice thing,
choice
too.
either way, in my opinion. I feel like that's kind of a rough third keeper. But because you have 2 wide receivers, so now you're getting stuck in the draft taking, in my opinion, 2 running backs right away. So
I got one hot off the presses here.
hot off the presses.
Yeah, it's kind of hot off the presses.
Okay, let's hear it.
Realistic. You try to be realistic with trades. And Jake and I were kind of battering around O.J. Howard for Chris Godwin the other day. Didn't really go through, but still,
We got close.
both of us
though.
were like, "Oh, that's a pretty good offer." We were intrigued by that. So, would you guys trade to get Sony Michel? Would you trade George Kittle? If you
You're
had,
receiving Sony Michel.
I'll give you a pretty good scenario here. You
Lay it
have
out.
Josh Jacobs, Leonard Fournette, and Ezekiel Elliott, and Tony Pollard, and you also have Matt Breida plus Justice Hill. So you're pretty deep at running back, but you're interested in Sony Michel. So would it be more reasonable to trade O.J. Howard to the team that has Jason Witten and only Jason Witten for Sony Michel? Or should you go with the offer that they come back with, George Kittle for Sony Michel?
No way.
So that's not a reasonable
No, that is not
counteroffer.
reasonable.
Okay. I agree with you, John. There's no way
No.
under
You're
God's
You're talking a tier
son
1.
that I would ever trade
You're
George
talking
Kittle.
a tier 1 tight end for a tier 2, tier 3 running back. I'd say tier 3 running back.
Especially when you already have Leonard Fournette, Ezekiel Elliott, and Josh Jacobs. Why would anybody think that you would ever
You're not
take
hurting
that
that
offer?
running back, so the
Right.
chips are in your hand. You know what I'm saying? You hold the cards. So to me, he has to give you some incentive, and that incentive is not for you to lose Kittle.
Would you do it for Le'Veon Bell?
Probably not.
Really? You wouldn't trade George Kittle straight out for Le'Veon Bell?
No, because I'm already in good shape at running back. You know what I mean? I have no reason to do that trade. So anyway, interesting counter offer, but I don't think anybody would do that. So some more questions. A couple from our buddy Noel Hebert. He asked us, what second year quarterback is the most likely to do well? And I think we have to take Baker Mayfield out of that because I think it's obvious that it's probably Baker Mayfield.
So who's going to do the second best
So
after
who's
Baker
Mayfield?
Mayfield?
Yeah, who's up next?
My vote right now, and I think this one I've been super fluid on all offseason, and I'll probably change next week after more news or something changes, but I think I'm Sam Darnold right now.
So just to put it into context, you're looking at Sam Darnold, you're looking at Josh Allen, you're looking at Josh Rosen
And Lamar Jackson.
So those are probably the most likely to play well this
So
year.
are we just going to eliminate Josh Rosen right now?
I think that's a safe bet.
Yeah, and-
especially with that offensive line.
You don't know if Fitzpatrick's is starting or he is, so I'd just rule him out.
Yeah, I think at this point, Sam Darnold gaining Le'Veon Bell, Chris Herndon, when he comes back from his suspension, looks like he could be a good piece. They have Robbie Anderson, Jamison Crowder they picked up, right?
Quincy Moore.
I'm leaning more and more Sam Darnold.
And John, is that where you're going as well? Or-
It's almost a tiebreaker for me. I mean, I definitely saw both preseason games of Lamar Jackson and Sam Darnold, and Lamar Jackson is just electrifying to watch, especially that penalty that got called back. That run was amazing. But Sam Darnold has fine-tuned quite a bit, so it's tough. I mean, he really looked really sharp with his throws. I'm interested to see how the next two games go. So, I mean, honestly, we just wait and see. But it's about a tie for me with Darnold and Jackson right now. But the upper hand goes to Darnold because he can throw better.
Okay. For me, it's Josh Allen. And I don't even think twice about it. Allen's got the Konami code. He can run. He's got a cannon for an arm, and he's got receivers that are tailored toward that style. And I don't think his offensive line's that bad. And I think they're going to be playing from behind a lot. So
That's a good point too.
I think Josh Allen's primed for a huge breakout this year. And I look at Josh Allen, and I deep inside get these weird Jameis Winston Pat Mahomes butterflies in my stomach. I just get this weird deep down inside me, this Pat Mahomes vibe that could happen this year and explode again. I could do it 2 years in a row, Jake. Where are we at for time, John?
27.
We're doing
All right,
pretty
let's
good.
take a break real quick. And,
Quick pause.
yeah, just a quick pause. You won't even notice, guys.
Okay, I'll hit pause.
Okay, we're back.
All right, so last question, also from Noel. Thank you, Noel, by the way. Realistic expectations for Le'Veon Bell in New York after a year off and a new team. Jake, what do you? I'm going to put you on the spot on this one.
300 plus touches combined, receiving and running.
Yep.
Probably combined 1,400 yards, and realistically, I say 9 touchdowns.
Okay, John, what do you think?
Realistically, Bell, I think, is in fine shape. I would say to be safe, probably 1,100 rushing yards, 260 attempts for rushing. I'd say about 45 to 50 receptions, probably about 400 yards.
Okay.
I'd say total touchdowns will be over 10.
So I'm not too far away from you guys except for one category. I think you're going to see probably 1,100 yards rushing. I think you'll see probably 6 rushing touchdowns. I think he hits 100 receptions this year.
Really?
Because if you look at the game, it has changed so much in terms of just even the small time frame since the last time we saw Lev Bell on the field. Look at how many receivers are going 90 to 100 receptions. And Robbie Anderson's the only dude on that team that I see as a viable receiving threat. So I think in a PPR league, I think Bell could really surprise a lot of people this year. I don't know if his rushing totals are going to be as high as people would like, but I think his receiving totals, I think you could definitely see 100 receptions from him this year at a McCaffrey level stat line. That's my take on Bell. All right, let's get into some grades here. You guys want to grade your peers?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. So we're going to start with Pat McCarthy and Sean McCarthy, the brothers McCarthy. I'm just going to run through their draft picks round by round, and then we'll discuss letter grades for these teams. So his first round pick, he had the one-on-one, obviously. So we're going in order of draft order. Saquon Barkley with his first round pick, Amari Cooper in the second. Remember, this is a 16-team league, guys, so this is a lot. The talent pool gets a lot thinner as each round goes by. So Marlon Mack in the third round, Alshon Jeffrey in the fourth, Baker Mayfield in the fifth, Eric Ebron in the sixth, James Washington in the seventh, Alfred Morris in the eighth, Matt Stafford in the ninth, John Brown in the 10th, Dallas Goedert in the 11th, and C.J. Anderson in the 12th. So I'll kind of kick it off here. The one thing that stands out to me, guys, is that we've got Baker Mayfield, who's a pretty good quarterback. He's pretty highly rated. I think he's a 4th-rated quarterback. So why are we drafting a backup in a league that only has 5 bench spots? That kind of stands out to me there. Why also in a league that has 5 bench spots are we drafting 2 tight ends? I think Ebron is solid. I don't think he's great, but I think he's solid. And you're backing him up with Dallas Goedert, who's not a guarantee to even see a huge snap count.
Nope.
So those 2 things to me are really weird. And then what else is kind of weird to me is James Washington in the 6th. What do you guys think of that?
7th, you mean?
Excuse me, the 7th, yeah.
He's got high upside, but you could have got him later.
I definitely agree with that.
I guess in hindsight, you can make judgments a little easier. I would have definitely gone Dante Pettis there myself. I feel like Dante Pettis has way more upside. So I feel like that pick you could. But in his defense, I want whoever the number 2 is for the Steelers, and if it's James Washington, that could be a great pick.
It could be. He definitely has upside. So the last thing that stands out to me here is that if Marlon Mack is on a bye or gets hurt, or Barkley's on a bye or gets hurt, you better pray that Zeke Elliott and Tony Pollard aren't playing so you can start Alfred Morris, and you better pray that Kerryon Johnson is hurt to get some value out of C.J. Anderson. Really scary situation at running back. So I give this, I'm probably being more generous than I should. I give this team a C-, borderline D+.
Sorry, Pat. It's probably a D+. Just
I don't know if you want to.
number 2 of Alshon Jeffrey doesn't excite me. I like Alshon Jeffrey, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't want him as my number 2. So I would have taken Tyler Boyd. I would have taken Robbie Anderson over him. So he just made some picks.
Kenny Golladay.
Yeah, because
Well, those guys were gone.
if you look at that round,
those guys were gone.
But
already.
Jake brings up a good point. Like Mike Williams. Jake, would you rather have Mike Williams as your number 2 than Jeffrey?
He wouldn't. I don't think he had an opportunity at Mike Williams.
So yeah, Williams was gone, but
Yeah,
Boyd
it was
there.
Boyd, Robbie Anderson.
even Allen Robinson, Christian Kirk. I mean, all of those guys. Josh Gordon, take a stab at him. So
there's not a lot of depth,
right, we need to remember that.
and they're just not my guys. I guess that kind of hurts my ranking of it too. I also don't really like Amari Cooper. I think he's boom or bust.
Yeah,
And in 16 teams, I want steady production out of my top guys.
and he's got a foot issue too.
So, isn't it? There's some exciting players. Saquon, Amari, and Baker Mayfield are all exciting. Like they're going to put up big weeks together, but at the same time,
The first time he has a bye.
yeah. So
This is just not a sustainable team. And we'll talk about Chet and Charlie's team, but you look at a guy like Justice Hill. I could see Justice Hill being a workhorse back this year. It might not happen in the first 6 to even 8 weeks. I do not see C.J. Anderson or Alfred Morris being a workhorse back. So there's not a lot. It's not a sustainable team.
I agree.
So, John, what do you think of this team?
I think a bye week.
So we got a C- and a D+.
I'm saying a D+ as well. I think they
Sorry, Pat.
there's no depth. The problem's going to be, week 1 you'll be fine, week 2 you'll be fine, I think you'll be fine. Come the bye weeks, you're going to be in trouble. Like DJ said, you're going to be playing a running back that may not even see the field, may be released before then. The other one, you pray that an injury happens or it's a change of pace a lot, which I don't see a lot happening there. So
Who do you think could be released? Because I think Freddie Morris could.
I think Alfred Morris is insurance right now, but I think he'll be the one gone. I think it's going to be, if Zeke holds out, let's play the Zeke scenario. If Zeke holds out, I think it's going to be Pollard, and then Weber will be your backup if he's healthy.
Yeah.
So I think Alf will be bye-bye.
So, sorry, Pat. Anyway, moving on to
the next one.
Another brother team, Sean and Adam. Their draft went as such. First round, Alvin Kamara, Devonta Freeman, second round, Chris Carson, third round, Jarvis Landry, fourth round, Tyler Boyd, fifth round, Dede Westbrook, sixth, Darius Geis, seventh, Tom Brady, eighth, Michael Gallup, ninth, Greg Olson, 10th, Andy Dalton, 11th, and Marquise Lee, 12th. I'll let you start this one off, John.
So what I do like is they have a nice core of running backs. Kamara, Freeman, Carson, and they have some upside at running back for a backup. Gucci as
We can't. No,
Guys,
stop. That
it's
is
guys.
not his nickname. We're not.
I don't know.
We're
I'm
not
warming up to
embracing
it.
his nickname.
Darius Gucci, baby.
Gucci. I'm warming
So you
up
start
to
looking
it.
at receivers. Landry and Boyd aren't bad. Westbrook, I mean, it's not a bad bye week fill-in, but what really irritates me about this,
In a 16-team league, that's a really good wide
Yep.
receiver 3.
so that's not bad. So the part that I start looking that gets bad is the quarterbacks. You have 2 quarterbacks, and you took Brady. I get it. You took him 8th round. You might have got him later, I think, because you could have gotten. You could have got Tribbs, Murray, Cousins.
They
It was-
should have taken Kirk Cousins right
Yeah.
there.
So
Yeah.
the other part of it is they drafted a second quarterback, Andy Dalton.
Well, they drafted Brady. They had
Yep,
to.
they could actually put more depth at receiver
Yeah.
there, or I believe he traded up for Greg Olsen. Was I wrong about that? Didn't he
did.
trade up to get
He
Olsen?
He made a move to get Greg Olsen.
And Olsen's his number 1 tight
How
end.
many beers deep was he on that one?
I don't know.
Well,
So
it was the 11th round in a 16-team league, so
Yeah, but you can get Greg. I mean, look, who went after that for tight end? I mean,
tight end was very thin at that
was-
point. So
yeah.
I do have to give him
Yeah.
that. He was picking from the bottom of the barrel.
but Noah Fant is more exciting to me than Greg Olsen. I don't know.
So I really love
Greg
their
Olsen's
draft
fine.
minus Tom Brady. If they got Kirk Cousins instead of Tom Brady,
and the 2 quarterbacks in this league you don't
Yeah,
need.
they
two
would
quar-
have been my
quarterbacks.
second favorite team behind my own if they had gotten Kirk
So
Cousins.
to
But-
me, I think they're a C plus.
oh no way! I think these guys are like a B plus. I think they
Really?
did a really. Their running backs
Well,
are 4 deep in my opinion.
I think wait till you see the next team
They got
because I think you
3
might want
deep-
to change your letter grade.
3 deep in wide receivers. Greg Olsen in a 16-team league
That's not
isn't
terrible.
a terrible tight end.
No.
Tom Brady kind of kills it for me, but the other positions, if we were grading not quarterback, they are like in the A's for me. Like they did a really good job, I think.
So guys that went after Andy Dalton, by the way. I mean, come on.
They blew the quarterback position. That's why it's in the B's for me.
But
Maybe
if-
not a B plus, maybe a straight B. How's that?
So guys that went after Andy Dalton, Jamal Williams, somebody that John and I drafted. If they had drafted Jamal Williams there and stuck with Tom Brady as their starting quarterback, I would have given this an A. I'm at
With
a
the Tom
I'm at a
Brady
solid.
pick, I don't think I can get it into the A. I think it's just such a bad pick.
I think
in
you're
my
underselling
opinion.
Brady a little bit. I mean, in a 16-team league, you could do much worse.
But the problem for me is I look at the draft because now that we can,
Yeah.
and they didn't take Kyler Murray, they didn't take Kirk Cousins, they didn't
Right.
take Josh Allen.
yeah, Cousins. That I don't know why they went.
So they
Brady
had
instead of
options and they
Cousins.
took Brady. So
I'm
they
giving
get a
the-
knock.
I'm
from
giving
me
these
on
guys
that.
a solid B. That's
Sounds like
that's
a
my take on
B,
this
B,
one.
C plus. So
Yeah. So
Okay.
a B average. That's not bad.
not bad. All right.
So another brother team, the third brother team in a row here, Chet and Charlie Coffey, the twins, who look and sound exactly alike,
and they wear their glasses on their
and
nose.
their glasses go
Way
they're-
low.
They pull they pull off the Geppetto look though. Seriously,
Oh, yeah.
the
So it's pretty
glasses
funny
at the
looking
bridge
up
of
in the
nose.
draft, and all of a sudden they just got their glasses down here, looking down. And
Yeah, and they tried to take us up to the cleaners on Chris Godwin, but
No.
Trade Whisperer wasn't letting that happen. So their draft went this way. First round, Christian McCaffrey, Keenan Allen in the second, Aaron Jones in the third, Evan Ingram in the fourth, Aaron Rodgers in the fifth, Emmanuel Sanders in the sixth, Dante Pettis in the seventh, Russell Wilson in the eighth, Justice Hill in the ninth, Alexander Mattison in the 10th, David Moore in the 11th, and then Noah Fant in the 12th. Jake, does Aaron Rodgers automatically disqualify them from an A letter grade?
for me,
Yeah.
yes.
This is a good team, though.
I guess I'm on a different planet than you right now
Okay.
because I hate the Aaron Rodgers pick. I hate the Evan Ingram pick. I hate the Emmanuel Sanders pick. I don't like those are like what was that? 3 out of their top 7 picks.
Yeah.
3 out of their top 6 picks. I'm not a fan of. So
Okay. And
Emmanuel Sanders as your number 2 receiver, and you're in rough shape.
I think realistically, I think Pettis is probably their number 2.
So
that's
Emmanuel
my
Sanders
take.
is their flex then.
Yep.
That's rough shape too.
I don't know. I look at this team a little differently. What would you letter grade these guys?
This is a little better than Pat, but they're like I gave Pat a D plus. These guys are like a C for me.
So their running backs are McCaffrey and Jones.
I think the problem is we have philosophy changes here too, where you like that they got a tight end that's higher ranked,
Yeah.
and I don't believe in that
Well,
strategy.
it's not that
so-
necessary. I'm looking at roster construction. That's what I'm looking at. They also got Russell Wilson, which was why would you do that? If you get Aaron Rodgers, you're not. And this is like
They took
what-
2 quarterbacks and they took 2 tight ends.
right.
So that disqualifies
So
them from an A right
what's
there.
the pattern here? The pattern is that teams, even though they only have 5 bench spots, which to me is minimal, that's as low as you're going to get in most leagues. Sometimes you see 4. But 5 bench spots, and you draft 2 quarterbacks, and one of them's Aaron Rodgers. You don't need a second quarterback when one of them's Aaron Rodgers. And then you draft 2 tight ends, and one of them's Evan Ingram. You don't need Noah Fant. I get maybe they're going to try to trade Noah Fant if he turns out well, or trade one of these guys, but those are the 2 things that really kind of make me scratch my head. Outside of that, I like this team a lot. Aaron Jones and Christian McCaffrey are your running backs, which is great. Keenan Allen and a mix of Pettis and Sanders. You could get worse in a 16-team league. A solid tight end with Evan Ingram, a solid quarterback with Rodgers. I love the Justice Hill pick. Love it. I really like the David Moore pick. I think there's more upside there than people think. But the 2 tight ends and 2 quarterback things, I think they could have added more depth to their team had they skipped on backing up those positions.
I think they should just, if they drafted Wilson where they did in the 8th and not picked up Rodgers and picked up like another receiver or running back there, they would have been fine.
Robbie Anderson.
Another solid B here, I think, with Chet and Charlie. John, what do you think?
I say B minus. I
think you guys are being too tough on these guys.
Oh, maybe I am, but I think the Rodgers. Honestly, I would rather have Wilson personally. But I think Rodgers, they could have had either another good running back, another good receiver. It kind of would have shifted their whole draft probably the next 2 rounds.
You look at David Moore. Who here thinks DK Metcalf's going to bust out? Raise of hands. Not one of us. Who here thinks Tyler Lockett is a surefire number 1 wide receiver on that team? Nobody's raising their hand. David Moore's got a chance to sneak in there, man. I'm telling you, and he's got a good rapport with Wilson. This guy flies under the radar. So if you're getting him in the 11th and Justice Hill in the 9th, all of a sudden that's a pretty darn. I don't want to face that team if those guys turn out.
If those guys turn out, maybe, but I just think the chances are slim for me. But I think it's a lot easier to be. We're probably being more critical because it's a lot easier to look at the draft afterwards and be like, oh, you should have picked that guy.
Well, I get
because we have the board.
I get
right
some
there,
problems
so.
with what John and I did on a couple of levels. So we
I
definitely weren't perfect either.
I think everybody goes back and goes, oh, I knew I could have got this guy. I now know I got this guy in the 6th. Why didn't I take this guy in the 4th? So yeah, it's a lot easier. So it's a lot easier to go back and pick on picks when you know they got just Coffey's team, for instance, you know they got Dante Pettis after Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah.
So
which is a good value if you think about it. Yeah.
But then you would change the Emmanuel Sanders pick. But
probably, yeah.
All right, woo. Keeping it moving.
All right, keep it going. Alex and Alicia, they drafted David Johnson in the 1st, Damian Williams in the 2nd, T.Y. Hilton in the 3rd. So pretty risky so far, but Mike Williams in the 4th, Matt Ryan in the 5th, Will Fuller in the 6th, Sammy Watkins in the 7th, Delaney Walker in the 8th, Chris Thompson in the 9th, Naheem Hines in the 10th, Jamison Crowder in the 11th, and Mo Sanu, we all love Mo, in the 12th round. So
I don't know if you were being joking about that.
We love Mo. We all like that pick.
No,
Yeah.
Mo Sanu is the guy you pick up off waivers and you start him as a bye week fill-in. He's actually really good.
I think he's a perfect 16-team pick.
Yeah.
Like
this team is like the guy with the mullet in the 80s driving the Trans Am. Like he just doesn't care. This team is all upside, man. They took some risks, and I kind of like that. I like that swag. I don't think David Johnson's all that risky. I was hoping he'd drop to us at the 6 overall. He did not. Damian Williams is risky. T.Y. Hilton is risky. I think Mike Williams is risky. Will Fuller is risky, but man, if these guys pop. I love Will Fuller this year. I love him every year.
Will Fuller averages.
Honestly, do.
Well,
I really do.
Will Fuller averages almost a touchdown a game with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
so
man.
That's huge upside right
and
there.
Mike Williams, Jake, you're a huge fan of his.
Yep.
T.Y., I don't think any of us are exactly high on, but, he's got upside. So this is a really high upside team.
Well, when we went through the T.Y. stats, T.Y. always has that. You feel like he scores a lot of touchdowns, but he doesn't
He
really.
had, 6 last year?
Yeah, so that really.
He only had like 80-something receptions last year.
Yeah, if you like to gamble, this is your team. I think out of all the teams,
Matty Ice is a great starting quarterback. Sammy Watkins, this is just a dilly gaff team, and that's typical, especially of Alex. He's a dilly gaff guy, and Alicia, she likes to take some risks too with her teams. I like this team; it excites me, but is it a sustainable team? I like that they were smart and only drafted one quarterback. I like that they were smart and I actually like this team a lot, which might surprise people.
And if I were them, like just based on their construction, if Ty, Mike Williams, or Will Fuller has a huge week 1,
Yeah, man.
I think you attempt to flop them right away for somebody
I don't
who's
disagree
steadier.
with you to get a little bit more stability.
Right.
Yeah,
I think they have some options, but they need the gamble to pay off, and they need somebody to pop week 1 or week 2 so they can make a move. I think their team's based on making a move.
I think Naheem Hines is a throwaway pick. I think Chris Thompson's probably a throwaway pick. But I like Crowder. I like Sanu. This is a B+, in my opinion.
I think I'm fine with a steady B there. I think there's a lot of risk attached.
John,
but
what do you think?
I'd say a B. I mean, they definitely, this team is taking big risks. I mean, like Delaney Walker's coming back from surgery, still hasn't been cleared to play. If he plays and he goes back to regular form, you're talking a guy who's in the top 5 as a tight end. A couple picks I disagree with, like Chris Thompson. Is he going to see the field?
Yeah, I think it's a throwaway pick. I think Hines is a throwaway.
Hines as well. I mean,
yeah, they blew the Chris Thompson pick with Tony Pollard being right behind him. They
It-
should
it
have
is-
sniped Tony Pollard.
It is a PPR league, by the way, just to be clear.
So, yeah, Mack is probably the 3-down back. Hines is going to be more like a specialist or change of pace back there. So, I don't know. But I love the Mike Williams pick. I mean, it's...
I love the Will Fuller pick.
Yeah,
if
see,
that's your flex,
Yeah, I mean, but if he goes to anything what he has been doing, which is a touchdown a week...
I don't know. I'm upping my grade to an A-, man.
An A-.
I really am.
Alex Keyrol's getting an A-.
And I think Alicia's getting an A-.
Okay.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, let's be
But one quarterback, one tight end, smart moves there, a lot of high upside. Some questions with stability, but I'm A- in these guys. I love it. You guys should change your team name to A- because your both names
to
both start with A.
I like it. A
like
squared, really.
A- because
A-
A is Alicia and then minus is
A-mo minus. A-mo minus.
I like it.
All right. So anyway, let's move on to the reigning champions, Paul and Josh. I don't think they're gonna like what I got to say about their team
Wait.
today.
Paul's the real big guy, right?
Paul is a scary guy.
Yeah, he's a really huge guy.
But
so I'm probably gonna be really nice to them on their pick.
well, we're not small guys. I think if we team up, we might be able to take him like Voltron.
Let's gang up on this guy.
I'll be on your shoulders.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Anyway, so they are the reigning champs, but by the looks of their team, not for long.
Ooh.
First round, DeAndre Hopkins.
A+ so far.
Ertz in the second round. Deshaun Watson in the third. Little early for a quarterback in a league like this, in my opinion, but Tevin Coleman in the fourth. Austin Eckler in the fifth. Geronimo Allison in the sixth. Cortland Sutton in the seventh. Tyrell Williams in the eighth. Tony Pollard in the ninth. Mitch Trubisky in the 10th. Love that pick. Chris Herndon in the 11th. And Adam Humphries in the 12th. What stands out to you guys on this team? I can tell you, for me, it's like running back. I mean, we're talking 0 RB to the extreme.
I mean, you want the good or bad?
Well,
I want it
the
all,
good's
man.
probably
Okay.
shorter, so start there.
Yeah, the good. I love the stack of Deshaun and DeAndre. Love that stack. Love the elite tight end.
I think just not to cut you off, John, but I think they could have got Deshaun in the fourth.
They probably could have, and it hurt them at
Because
running
they had
back.
a short turn there, right, guys? I mean, they had a shorter turn.
They should have gone Aaron Jones and hoped
But they
Deshaun
didn't.
came
yeah.
around.
But
I
it's-
think they could have got Deshaun.
Oh,
yeah.
on the long. They were
Yeah,
on
they
the
were on the
long
long turn, but I still think they could have got him.
But Tevin Coleman as an RB1, that's bad.
Dude, he's not even the RB1 on the team. Matt Burita is.
Well, it could be a committee there. We don't even know. So that's,
It'll be
first
a,
of all,
it'll
you're-
be a committee.
Enchilada sauce, cheese,
Tevin Coleman's
rice, all that good stuff.
and then they have Eckler.
Jalapenos.
Eckler, we don't even know. What if Gordon does sign? What if Gordon doesn't sign? You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
if Gordon signs, what do they do?
They cut him. I mean, they don't have. You're going to keep him as a handcuff to somebody you don't even own. But I will say this: if neither of those guys sign, they have Tony Pollard and Austin Eckler. But I wouldn't want to mortgage my season on that.
yeah, but the bad
I
news.
would have gone running back there where they got
The
Watson.
bad news is if
And why pick Trubisky if you already have Watson?
exactly.
That doesn't make any sense.
So-
when you have a stud quarterback.
Yeah, so the scary part really gets to be too, though, is if Melvin Gordon and Zeke come back, they're in really trouble. They have no depth at running back.
I'm not.
They're done
None.
if that happens.
I'm not
None.
super.
And there's no
opposed-
waiver wire on this
Right,
league
not
at
this
this
league.
point. Yeah.
I'm not super opposed to
There is, but
Trubisky
there's
if you think
nothing
he's
there.
going to break out. I'm super opposed to Chris Herndon as just taking a roster spot for no reason. He's not even going to play the first 4 weeks. You could have picked him up in week
And that's
3.
the thing. I look at this team. You have Zach Ertz. You only need so you're going to waste a draft pick on a guy that you're only going to use at most once this season. You could probably pick Chris Herndon up off the waiver wire in Zach Ertz bye week. And then you have Deshaun Watson. I love Mitch Trubisky, guys. He's my starting quarterback in my keeper league. But not if I have Deshaun. I'm not even drafting anybody other than him.
What I probably would have done too is I love the stack of Deshaun and DeAndre. I love it.
That's the
I love
best
it.
part of this team.
It's the best stack in
and
the
they
league.
have a great tight end.
But I probably would have looked at taking running backs and getting Carson Wentz and stacked the Wentz-Ertz stack.
That's a great
That's
idea.
what I
Jake.
probably would
That's
have
an
done.
excellent idea, and I'm surprised you're not vomiting all over this team with a tight end in the second and a quarterback in the third. I gotta go deep. I gotta go D plus, guys.
Yeah, it's
The stack is the only thing that really is like, oh, that's a good idea.
It's him and Phil, them and Pat are right there together with the D plus.
And their receivers are okay too. But what about you, John? Where are you grading these guys?
I gotta say a D. I mean, it did, the first 3 picks are nice. After that, it's total chaos. It's a boomer bust. It's not even boomer bust. The one high upside pick I do like is Tyrell Williams. If Brown, for some reason, doesn't play, Humphreys interests me too.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't even like really the backup wide receivers either. Geronimo, Cortland, Tyrell
But I mean,
Williams.
you didn't need.
So do we need to spend any more time realistically
No,
on
let's
a D,
move.
on a D?
Let's
plus
go to the
team?
best team next.
All right, so me and John are up next. First round, James Conner. Second round, George Kittle. Third round, Sony Michel. Fourth round, Chris Godwin. Shockingly, we stole him. Fifth round, Robbie Anderson. Sixth round, Matt Breida. Seventh round, Marvin Jones. Eighth, Justin Jackson. Ninth, Damian Harris. Up against the wall, handcuff action. 10th, Kiki QT. 11th, Lamar Jackson. And 12th, Jamal Williams. I'm not saying this because it's my team, but I like this team a lot. The one thing, guys, that concerns me about this team, outside of maybe George Kittle, I'm worried that we don't have that stud anchor. You know what I mean? That really good anchor to provide you with a 30-point week. I don't know that we have that. But, John, you and I agreed we're playing it safe here.
Yeah, we've taken too many risks every year.
Zeke was there in the first round, and we're like, nope, we know we need a running back. Gurley's too risky. Zeke's too risky. Zeke fell to the 11th pick, by the way. So we're going James Conner. And then we wanted to do another running back in the second round, but we didn't love what we saw. We passed on Melvin Gordon, and we took George Kittle. I think we have a good running back core with Michelle, Connor, Burita, and then upside guys like Justin Jackson, a handcuff like Damian Harris. Jamal Williams was our last pick. So there might be a work share there. And then Chris Godwin and Robbie Anderson, I'm loving that, man, at our wide receiver 1 and 2 where we got them. And then Marvin Jones is a very respectable wide receiver 3. And then, of course, Kiki QT.
So it's not my team, but the one concern I have is you don't have that PPR beast, like you said. Like,
I think Connor could be. Let's not undersell him.
but he's
And Chris Godwin could too.
Chris Godwin's not a solidified PPR beast. So you just don't have that guy that you know is going to get targeted 10 times a game, end the season with over 100 catches for sure.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of the scary part for me. I don't believe in tight end early, so obviously I bump you down for that because I just don't. It's just not my strategy. And then Lamar Jackson as your starter is okay.
Yeah,
It
Lamar
scares me a
Jackson's
little
a
bit,
concern.
but
Yep.
I think it's overall a pretty balanced team. I don't love Sony Michel being not a receiving back in a PPR, but 16 teams, it gets thinned out quickly.
Well, he's better than Lamar Miller.
so is he better than David Montgomery in PPR though?
Well, he's not our. Yeah, I mean, he's.
That's like a flip flop for
He
me.
could be,
he could
yeah.
be. He might not be. I think it's pretty close. So
So I'm going to give us, just because Lamar Jackson, you need at least a safe quarterback, and I'm not so sure Lamar Jackson is that. My other concern is that I'm a little worried about the health of Sony Michel, but at the same time, we did snag Damian Harris. I mean, really, the only drawback to me, and again, this is my team, and you guys probably think but like Matt Breida is our third running back. I would put him up against Lamar Miller. I don't care what anybody says. And Marvin Jones is our third receiver in a 16-team league. I'm giving this an A-. As much as I want to give it a B+, I'm giving it an A-.
Yeah,
because it's
I
a
am.
safe, solid team.
I end at B+. That's
I'll take that.
Yeah.
B+. That's for me. You have two number
And
two
that's because
receivers.
Jake doesn't want to give us an A-. Let's face it.
Well,
He's holding on for his team.
just
Yeah.
comparatively how I've been giving out rankings, I'm going to be honest, I like the Butler team more. So I can't rank you guys ahead of him when I can't give you a better ranking
it's
when I
not-
like his team better.
I don't know, man.
That's
I
just
mean,
my
I like
opinion.
his team. Don't get me wrong. They're close. They're close, but we don't have two quarterbacks. I mean, that's just a deal breaker for me. That's just a bad move in a league with only 5 bench spots. John, where do you throw the grade out there? You can give us an A+ if you want.
No, I think an A is very well. B plus, A minus, I would say is fair. I am concerned with Lamar Jackson, but we're also taking a shot with him. I think if the news is to me inspiring. They say he's throwing better.
And he's got the Konami code, and that's why we took him.
And if he runs, you're talking his floor. Let's say his floor is 20. If he starts making the throws like they say he is in camp, we're talking the next Mahomes possibly. He might not get 50, but I'll take. You know what?
He doesn't have the arm strength, but
I'll take 1,000 rushing yards and 20 touchdowns.
I'll take in our league. It does incentivize quarterbacks a little bit more. 21, 22 points a week is what I see out of him.
I'm okay with that.
Yep.
Say floor of 20 if we get from him.
Quick pause.
Quick pause in it.
Quick
we quick
pause.
pause in? Yep. All right, let's take a quick pause.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to the Lunchbox Heroes. Our friend David Kuchar, listener, and Lunchbox, that is his real name. They had a pretty good start to the draft, and then it kind of went a little south. But this is their team. First round, Michael Thomas. Or as David said during the draft, Michael Thomas. He went full Soroy.
Now it's trademarked.
Yeah. So second round, Melvin Gordon. Third round, Stephon Diggs. Fourth round, O.J. Howard. Fifth, Allen Robinson. Sixth, Rashad Penny. Seventh, Jared Goff. Eighth, Jordan Howard. Ninth, N'Keal Harry. 10th, T.J. Hawkinson. 11th, Deonta Foreman. And another team drafting 2 quarterbacks.
And 2 tight ends.
And 2 tight ends. The 12th pick is the poor man's Jared Goff, Nick Foles. Jake, what do you think?
Man, if Melvin Gordon doesn't play, it's
Rashad Penny's their
rough
RB1.
go. So
Yeah. Diggs and Thomas, though, is pretty sexy.
and Allen Robinson in a 16-team league.
Yeah,
That's a pretty
that's
stacked
solid.
top 3. They got O.J. Howard. They got Jared Goff, who's a respectable quarterback.
Yep.
Their running backs are just so dependent on Melvin Gordon playing.
I actually love N'Keal Harry, too. I love their receivers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just think wide running back in a 16 team was such a premium,
Yeah.
and they're so far behind. If Melvin Gordon is not around,
Right.
they will just get outscored at running back so heavily that they won't be able to make it up.
What's your letter grade for this one, Jake?
With Melvin Gordon playing 12 games, I give him a B. No Melvin Gordon, it's like a C+.
I was going to say exactly that. In a B, it just only because the second running back is Rashad Penny, and you guys know I'm a Penny guy, but not as my RB2, even in a 16-team league. And again, 5 bench, you don't need 2 tight ends, especially if one of them's O.J. Howard. Waste of a pick, and you don't need 2 quarterbacks. So yeah, I'd say C+ right now, solid B if Gordon plays, but right now he's not. So if I had to grade it now, it's a C+.
I mean, where they got Gordon was great value, though. I mean, if he does play, they've just got him at great value for where they got him.
Yeah.
So I'd agree a C minus for these guys. Cool. If they don't do something about running back, if Gordon doesn't play, they're in trouble. They're gonna have to make either trade a Diggs or trade somebody to make an upgrade because I'm not sold on their back. I mean, Deontay Foreman. I don't even know why he's on the roster.
Yeah,
He's
well,
not
I'm
gonna
sure
be.
they'll cut him.
Yeah.
Soon.
So I would take a look at that.
When they drafted, he wasn't hurt. So
Right. He didn't tear his bicep. So
No, good point.
let's take the highway to Heller onto Ryan Heller and Phil, his partner, Phil the plagiarist. We'll talk about that on another episode. We don't have time today. But anyway, they drafted a pretty solid team. I like their squad. It's Devontae Adams in the first round, Mahomes in the second round. That takes you out of A status right there. Thielen in the third, Miles Sanders in the fourth, Latavius Murray in the fifth, Darrell Henderson in the sixth, Kyle Rudolph in the seventh, Deshaun Jackson in the eighth, Darwin Thompson in the ninth. Love that pick. Dak Prescott, backup quarterback for absolutely no reason in the 10th. Zay Jones in the 11th, and Jack Doyle in the 12th. It's like a snowball effect going downhill. Like they started really good, and then it just went downhill from there. I don't hate this team though. I think Miles Sanders got great upside. I love Latavius Murray. I think he's an RB2 every week. Low end, but still an RB2. I love Darwin Thompson. And I like Thielen and Adams. Great. I mean, you can't get much better than that in a 16-team league. But Mahomes in the second, guys, I mean, come on. And then to draft Prescott.
you just need Mahomes to do what he did last year. If Mahomes repeats, then it's fine. If he doesn't,
Just
then
highly unlikely.
you're not in big trouble, but you're not getting the value you paid. You're not getting the price back. So
Are you guys comfortable with Kyle Rudolph as your starting tight end or
No.
Jack Doyle?
No, neither.
no, I'm not. Yeah, Kyle Rudolph just doesn't offer the upside to me.
Yeah. I like a lot of parts of this. I like a lot of aspects of this team. I'll give him a B minus.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was. A B
Yeah.
minus.
What do you think, John?
B minus, C plus.
Okay.
So I mean, to me, you're hoping Sander plays, which he has the advantage right now. I love the Latavius Murray pick. Love it.
And you got to take risks in leagues
Yep,
like
you do.
this.
You do. And
John,
then,
you got to keep your kids under control. Over there.
Daryl Henderson. I mean, you're playing on chance here. So, but he might not be. He might be a change pace back. Wait and see. But both tight ends scare me. Double QBs. So I'm not sold on Zay Jones either.
Yeah. I don't know what that was all about. Let's move on to Aaron and GTL. They started with Le'Veon Bell in the first, Travis Kelce in the second, James White in the third, DJ Moore in the fourth. Loving it so far. Christian Kirk in the fifth, Drew Brees in the sixth, Kareem Hunt in the seventh, Adrian Peterson in the eighth. So they love horrible human beings on this team. Kyler Murray in the ninth, Jimmy Graham in the 10th, Randall Cobb in the 11th, and Traquan Smith in the 12th. They should call their team the New England Penitentiary. But yeah, I don't hate this team at all. I kind of like this team. Bell and James White, a couple of PPR backs in a PPR league. Travis Kelce is obviously the best tight end on the planet. I don't hate DJ Moore and Christian Kirk as receivers. I think their starting squad is good. I think Adrian Peterson, I don't know if you're starting him in your flex the first few games, he's a good pick. But otherwise, if you're not starting him right out of the gate, you're probably not getting much value out of him. I love Breeze, and I don't hate Jimmy Graham where they got him.
But they already had Travis Kelce, so there was no need. So
Yeah, no, so that's kind of a wasted pick there. So again, can you guys tell me why these teams are going after two tight ends and two quarterbacks when they already have stud versions of those positions?
I think the problem is people are not used to draft.
It's Bush League, dude.
Yeah, but they're not used to drafting 16 teams. They probably didn't mock much, so they probably thought, oh, hey, this is how I typically draft it.
12-team leagues, 10-team leagues, a lot of teams don't take two of those positions.
I think they're just accustomed to 10 and 12, and they weren't prepared to not looking at depth.
They're going to regret that.
A lot of teams are.
Yeah.
Because they have there's no reserves on these teams barely. So
and nobody's going to trade for a quarterback. You know what I mean? And
Not when
maybe a team like us, if Lamar Jackson completely melts down, but you and I are probably going to hit the waiver wire.
There's plenty of there still.
Come on, guys. C+, C+ right here.
I agree.
I like your starters a lot, but then you just went in the complete wrong direction.
This team should be called Fantasy Heroes because a lot of the first half is actually good, and then you start looking at it like, okay, Le'Veon Bell was a previous, fantasy MVP. Then you start looking at the teams: Drew Brees, Kareem Hunt, Adrian Peterson, all these, Jimmy Graham, Randall Cobb.
If it's a hot tub time machine, then
that's what I'm saying.
Out.
These guys were great in their prime, but we're past their primes, and there's a lot of, I'm not saying they don't have something left in the tank, but Jimmy Graham ain't half the man he used to be. Same with Randall Cobb.
C+ because of their starters.
Well, he's going to cut Jimmy Graham anyways. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll give you a C+ for the starters. Yeah. The bench is a no-go.
We lost it there. All right, let's pick on my boy here,
Cameraman time.
Andrew and Noah, our cameraman. Andrew, my son. First round, Julio Jones. Second round, Leonard Fournette. Third round, Brandon Cooks. Fourth round, Tariq Cohen. Fifth round, Hunter Henry. I'm liking it so far. Sixth round, Kenyon Drake. Seventh round, Paris Campbell. Eighth round, Phillip Rivers. Great job there. Ninth round, Jordan Reed. Then 10th round, Raquel Armstead, handcuffing it up against the wall. Nice job there.
Clearly, he's your son.
Devin Funchess in the 11th, and then Marcus Mariota in the 12th.
I'm not blaming Andrew for that one.
What is that all about?
His partner, Andrew, was actually getting, I think, something to eat or using the restroom when this
And then his
pick
knucklehead
happened.
partner just screamed out Marcus Mariota when there are much better players on the board after that. So
Yeah, not bad overall. I'm not a huge Tariq Cohen guy, so for me personally, I don't want him on my team, but I understand he has value in PPR, and it's a 16 team.
If Drake's hurt out of the gate, he's a decent guy you can pop in there.
Well, here's good news for Andrew and his team. Kenyon Drake, news just got reported about 5 minutes ago. Kenyon Drake has shedded the boot and is
there
practicing.
you go, bud.
Oh,
and he
look at
plays
that.
us week 1 too.
Yep,
We're
so-
still gonna
Nice.
whip his rear end.
I'm
but-
hoping that boot comes back on after today's practice.
I
Well,
really,
his offensive line is trash, so he probably won't do that well. But
I really like their starting lineup, though. Phillip
I
Rivers
like
and
this
Hunter
team.
Henry as a stack.
Yeah.
Julio Jones, Brandon Cooks is arguably one of the better combos in the league overall for 1 and 2s. That's
I don't
a pretty
know.
good combo.
I don't know if you guys purposely did this, but if you did, great job. If you didn't, I don't know how you maybe just did it this way. But Paris Campbell, Devin Funches, someone's got to win there. Do you guys purposely do that?
Yeah, nice job.
That's
man.
actually good then.
And I like Jordan Reed. I think you could have gone Anthony Miller there, somebody like that. But no, I like this team a lot, and it's not just because he's my kid.
So I know we've said don't take 2 quarterbacks, don't take 2 tight ends.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have taken the second quarterback, but
I don't-
I don't mind the 2 tight ends because they're both risky.
Right.
Hunter Henry's injury prone,
Yep.
Jordan Reed's injury
Something
prone.
about the Henry Reed.
One of them pans out, great. You just cut the
Yeah.
other one or trade him, whatever you do.
The Mariota thing brings you
Yeah,
right
that
down
was
to a B minus.
Yeah,
dude.
I was gonna give you a B overall,
The
but
Mariota thing is just careless drafting, just trying to get a pop out of the room. That's not how you draft in fantasy football. And I know, and I don't think that was Andrew's fault. It was Noah's. I think we all know that. But Noah brought you down to a B minus. But otherwise, great idea with the handcuff. Nice job. This guy's 15 years old, folks. He's the prodigy. He's the next. He's the heir to the throne.
we'll lose the handcuffs next
But
year.
I'll be sitting in that throne for a long time, just in case you're
Oh
wondering.
God.
All right, so moving on to Ernie's team. Ernie and Jeremy, the Fat Guys, is their team name.
They drafted from the lawn.
They did draft from the lawn. It was getting a little too hot in the garage here. So anyway, first round Zeke at 11th overall though. Good job guys. Second round Josh Jacobs. Third Calvin Ridley. Fourth Kenny Galladay. If you flip those rounds, I think that's good. Fifth Sterling Shepard. Sixth Cam Newton. Devin Singletary in the 7th. Love it. LaShawn McCoy in the 8th. Love that team, that combo there. Marquise Brown in the 9th, Trey Burton in the 10th, Kenny Stills in the 11th, Rashad Higgins in the 12th. I'm just going to say it, guys. Outside of the fact that they did not get Tony Pollard, this is an A- right here.
Yeah, they did a really.
This is
they did a
solid
good
all
job.
around.
Yeah.
They got upside. They have chances. They have a handcuff in there.
They got Singletary and McCoy, so if McCoy starts and Singletary takes over, they just cut McCoy like that, cut their losses. Marquise Brown's high upside. I don't love him. I don't love their bottom end of their receivers, but they have Ridley, Galladay, and Shepard. That's a good. I love this team. I'm going to bump them up to an A. I'm going to give them a better grade than us.
Yeah, I'm at the A- just because the Zeke question mark is.
Yeah, if they'd have paired him with
Is
Pollard,
lingering.
yeah, they should probably try to get Pollard in a trade. That would be
Probably
my
should.
suggestion.
But a good team. They have one of the better teams
Yeah, I
for
like
sure.
it. These guys know what they're doing. And Jeremy
Oh,
made
yeah.
some great shirts for us. So guys that don't necessarily know what they're doing, I mean, one of them does. Justin does, but Justin and Jake Cookson.
It's all about the partnership.
If you're counting the fourth brother team in this league, first round Todd Gurley at the 112, love that pick. Second round Juju Smith-Schuster, love that pick. Third round David Montgomery, love it. Fourth round Miller, not so much. Fifth round Josh Gordon. Sixth round Larry Fitzgerald. I like what you guys did there. Fitzgerald should provide a safety net if Josh Gordon is not on the team again, which is probably going to happen. Seventh round Andrew Luck. Eighth round Austin Hooper. Ninth round Carlos Hyde. 10th round Anthony Miller. Great pick there. 11th round Mecole Hardman. And 12th Andy Isabella, which may or may not be on your team anymore. Did you cut him?
We're talking about the draft, but yes, I had to cut it.
Okay, he did get cut.
But that's not part of the draft, so it's okay.
I'm throwing an A- at you guys, Jake. I do like this team. I love the Anthony Miller pick late. That was a steal and a guy that could be the number one on that team. I love your receivers.
Yeah.
Love them. And if Josh Gordon plays well, you guys are. I'm not afraid to say you guys are the front runners. But you got question marks
Yeah.
too. You've got Gurley's a question mark. Gordon's a question mark. Miller is Duke Johnson. Could he take over that
Andrew
role?
Luck is a question mark.
Luck's a huge question mark. Austin Hooper's trash. So there are certain aspects to this
And
team
Jake just gave the weirdest look.
that I don't like, but I would give you guys an A- on your draft for sure. I don't know if you agree, John.
This team's tight all around.
We know Jake's going to give himself an A+.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I'll grade an A. I actually like this team. It's an A for me. Todd Gurley, if he plays anything close to he did last year at the 12th pick, is amazing. I mean, that was great value there for these guys. Juju on the way back. I love the Montgomery pick. I really do. I would say your worst pick, honestly, for me is Luck, just because based on his health, you could be in trouble if he doesn't play week 1. But I get what you'll probably do. You'll probably cut, which you already did, Isabella, and probably looking at backup quarterback. But other than that, this team's pretty solid actually. And if it plays any way it did the year before, they're going to be in a good spot.
Yeah.
Especially Fitzgerald. I mean, yeah, last year was an off year for Fitzgerald, but that whole team was just off. If he even goes back to normal form, and let's drop it by 10%. He got him as, a third wide receiver?
Right.
He's more wide receiver, too.
So Justin
Yeah,
did
so-
a great job drafting while Jake was just talking.
Yeah, it worked. It
Excellent
worked out
work
good though.
here.
Like the guys we wanted, immediately behind them there was a safe guy to back them up with. So we like Josh Gordon. We love the upside, and then we immediately could follow him up with Larry Fitzgerald being safe. We love David Montgomery's upside. We could immediately follow him up with Lamar Miller's safety. So
All right, let's move on.
The draft fell
What's
nicely
your grade
in
for
place.
yourself?
I'll just agree with the average grade of an A.
Modesty from Jake Cookson.
Wow.
That's a
You
first.
know, an A. What are you gonna do?
A minus. But anyway, let's move on to. I don't know. Can you guys see the last couple teams here? I'm having a hard time getting over.
No,
it.
I got it. So the next team is Jackie.
Oh, well, see, Jake.
2 fingers. And
Who's Jackie paired up with?
Jackie is with. I'm going to say Tom because
Okay.
we haven't seen Jen in a
long
few
time.
years.
So,
and Tom shows up in drafts.
I will-
So it's Jackie and Tom, a married couple. So yeah, you want to buzz through that team, John?
So their team is Nick Chubb, Kerryon Johnson, Tyler Lockett, Robert Woods, Corey Davis, David Njoku, Jalen Samuels, Peyton Barber, Kirk Cousins, Mark Andrews, Jimmy G, and Cole Beasley.
So Tom
work.
Martell is at this point he's a fantasy legend. He's been doing this since they were tapping like stone and carving the
Like
draft
writing
into
into stone.
stone.
I think you mean more like he was like writing it on paper and mailing it through the mail.
Yeah, I
to
think they might have
somebody.
sent it in via mail, and
You
and
didn't find out for-
They had to
yeah.
write up. They had legitimately. Tom would tell me they used to have to go to the newspaper to get the stats.
You used
They-
to have to write your
the
stats
box
down.
scores.
Yep.
Yeah. So Tom's an OG, and no surprise, he's got a great team here. He and Jackie. Jackie's the owner, but Tom helped her draft this. I really like this team, guys. Chubb and Kerryon, I love that. They were fortunate enough to get 2 running backs back to back, and then they followed up with Lockett and Woods and Corey Davis. Corey Davis got upside. Lockett and Woods in a 16-team league is great. David Njoku, they got Njoku and Andrews. I think they could have just rolled with Andrews on this team. And then Samuels is great. I mean, they're probably trying to CB us because we have James Conner, you know what I mean? So they might be like, well, we'll take his handcuff. And then Chef Barber D kind of puts that's a dirty word and on any team, but
Yeah, but you know what is what their fourth running back? It ain't that
yeah.
bad.
And then Kirk Cousins, Mark Andrews, Jimmy Garoppolo, Cole Beasley. Beasley is your last pick. That's fine. Again, guys, why are we drafting 2 quarterbacks and 2 tight ends? That automatically brings this team down to an A minus, but I think it's an A minus.
We're very far apart. I give
Okay.
them a C.
Okay.
See above.
I don't like Tyler Lockett or Corey Davis. I just don't see
See,
either
I
of
see
them
Corey
jumping
Davis
ahead.
the same risk factor as like a Josh Gordon.
Josh Gordon, I think, could finish in the top 20.
If he plays. If
Right.
he
I
doesn't
don't even know if
smoke
Corey Davis can
weed.
finish in the top 20, even if he plays.
I think you might want to check his stats again last year. You might have been not too far from that, to be honest with you. I think you might want to double check
I don't-
those stats. But anyway, like
I just don't like Njoku. I don't know. It's just not my guys.
Yeah.
I guess that's the problem. It's just a bunch of guys I don't believe in, really. Nick Chubb makes me worried because Kareem Hunt comes back. What happens? This team has a lot of question marks, and I just think a lot of guys who underperform their cost. I don't think Tyler Lockett fulfills a 3rd-round pick.
And I look at Kirk Cousins, John, I think you would agree, as a great value there. I mean, he went after Tom Brady. He went after Phillip Rivers. He went after Jameis Winston. He went after Jared Goff.
He did go super late, but he's
And I think he'll outperform all those guys
Right.
outside
Yep.
of luck, maybe.
still the 6th to 10th best quarterback. So it's not like he's a top 5 quarterback.
I'm a huge Mark Andrews believer. I'm A minus on this team.
I think we
you-
differentiate.
Where are you at, John? John, don't forget that you're being videotaped.
No, I know. My son's just being distracted right now. Sorry. The biggest thing for here, I would say, I don't agree with the Jimmy G pick. I mean, I don't know if they're just taking a gamble and not sold on Cousins. It was just odd,
Maybe it's because Jackie always tries to get Tom Brady.
and she didn't get him this time.
And so she got the next best thing, I guess the guy that
Wants
used
to be Tom Brady.
or something. Yeah.
And I mean, running backs are solid. I think the receivers are solid. Is there an elite number one? No. But
It's
you
a
have,
safe team,
It's a
I
safe
think.
Robert Woods. It's a safe Tyler Lockett. Corey Davis It's his third year, the myth of the third year wide receiver. He could. I'm not saying he'll explode, but he has a safe floor, I think, as well.
Outside of Peyton Barber, they have a lot of guys that I believe in.
Yeah.
And Njoku, they went early on Njoku, and I don't think he's.
I think they could have waited there. But overall, I would say a B plus.
I think if you switched Andrews and Njoku, I think Andrews is going to be awesome this year. So somebody's listening to the podcast on this team, I think, or it's just coincidence. But let's move on to the team known as Bunshine, and I don't know if we're allowed to say that because I'm not really sure what it means, but their logo
Me neither.
their logo is a buttocks with something on the top of it. But anyway, that's
Toupee.
that's our boys Joey and Ben. We manage to just dominate them every year, don't we, John?
We're not well liked
and we
by 'em.
enjoy doing it. They're in this league every year to beat us, and they just can never pull it off. It's
actually
kind of embarrassing at this point.
It's actually a good rivalry. I like it every year.
It was good until we just started curb stomping them on a yearly basis. I mean, you guys need to step your game up, or we're just going to refuse to play you. We're going to hold out on playing against you guys.
We're going to pull a Melvin Gordon or a Zeke Elliott on them.
No, these guys are good. So, first round, Joe Mixon. Second round, Antonio Brown. Third, Mark Ingram. Fourth, Julian Edelman. Fifth, Jared Cook. Sixth, DK Metcalf. Seventh, Duke Johnson. Eighth, Golden Tate. Ninth, Josh Allen. Jalen Richard in the 10th. Keyshawn Johnson, not that one, in the 11th, and Derek Carr in the 12th. I get what they did with Derek Carr. See, this is a team I could see a 2 QB team because you have two guys that you're not sure what you're going to get out of them. I mean, I like their receivers a lot. I think their running backs are solid. It's another team that I like a lot. It's another, I think, an A- team here.
I'm a little.
They
lower.
won't beat us, but
I think it's a B plus because I think the ceiling is not. I don't see the breakout guy. Where's the guy that brings them over the top to him? I'm
pointing at Joe
He's pointing
Mixon.
at Joe Mixon, but I already expect a huge year out of Joe Mixon, and they paid a first-round pick. So,
and I'm pointing at Josh Allen, but I'm a believer.
yeah, you're a believer.
I'm a truther.
I'm
so.
lukewarm on that. I don't know yet.
I'm not sold on Ingram.
Right.
I'm
Ingram's
sorry, but
I'm
middle
not
of the
either.
road.
you got me drinking the Justice Hill juice. So
You're welcome.
I think Mark Ingram will be okay, but I think at a third round pick, it's kind of scary. But it's late in the draft. I mean,
Yeah.
I get it.
Speaking of late in the draft, Chris Belanger was a late in the draft pickup. He filled a team at the end. But what's your grade before we go on Bunshine,
I said
whatever that is?
Bunshine's going to be a B plus.
Okay,
Yeah, I
cool.
think.
So on to Chris's team. You got anything else on them, Jake?
No, I
Okay.
just think there's not a high enough ceiling to get them into the
They're
A's.
safe, but I think you need safe in this league. But we'll see how that plays out. Upside could win you the league for sure,
Right.
too. So, and don't sell Antonio short. He has been the best receiver in the league for the last 5 seasons. So.
See Derek Carr.
Yeah, but Derek Carr has been a MVP quarterback before, a MVP level quarterback before. I don't know. We'll wait and see
Yeah.
on that one. But I think Antonio's getting a lot of hate. And
I think Antonio's going to be safe. I don't
Yeah.
see an explosion of 16 or 1,700 yards like his MVP season, but I do see at least 12 or 1,300 double-digit touchdowns. I think they're going to – remember, AB can play multiple positions, and what I mean by that is he can play the X receiver. He can play the slot receiver. He's very versatile as it relates to being a receiver.
all right.
I
I don't want to cut you off, John, but I think we're getting short on time here. We can love fest Antonio Brown later on. I'm sorry, I got us off on a tangent there. But Chris, he likes head cases like Antonio Brown because he drafted Tyreek Hill in the first round, Odell Beckham in the second, Derrick Henry, a perennial disappointment, in the third, Cooper Kupp in the fourth, Vance McDonald in the fifth, bit of a reach there, Carson Wentz in the sixth, Royce Freeman in the seventh, Ronald Jones in the eighth, Big Ben in the ninth, Marquez Valdez-Scantling in the 10th, Ito Smith in the 11th, Robert Foster in the 12th. I don't hate this team at all. I don't understand the Wentz Big Ben thing. You get a guy like Wentz, you don't need a backup. with
You
5
don't
bench
hate this
spots.
team.
I don't hate it. I don't like Derrick Henry. The running backs are tough. I'm not gonna lie.
I
Like
thought that there alone would make it so
it's
this team's
oh yeah,
not
no,
okay.
I'm not throwing an A or even a B at these guys, but I don't hate the team. I think they're going to be hurting on running backs. They took a lot of leaps of faith. Derrick Henry is your RB1. Royce Freeman and Ronald Jones, your RB2. And then Ito Smith's your only other running back. So getting to that point, it's a good team until you get to the running back situation. C+.
It looks like a best ball lineup.
It kind of does.
Kind of
yeah.
looks like that to me.
Yeah, but I'll give them
They're
a
going to
C+.
have big weeks, though. That's like
Right. I mean,
I don't really want to play them because I'm afraid I'll run into the Derrick Henry week.
But to your point, dude, you just talked about you need high upside guys. Well, you got 3 of them with Kupp, Beckham, and Tyreek Hill.
Oh yeah, the ceiling is very high,
And that's
these
why I give
guys
him a
have
C+.
the reverse. They got the very low floor at the same time.
I thought Kuchar hated running backs, but man, Chris is just.
I think Derrick Henry,
Throwing shade.
Royce Freeman combo.
Derrick
is
Henry's a standard.
rough combo.
He's a standard scoring running back, I think, and
Put it into perspective, and this is a 12-team league, but I have Royce Freeman as my 6th running back, I believe, on my keeper league team.
Right.
But the rest of his team is solid. I like
I
it.
agree.
I think Vance will be fine at tight end.
They're a C for me.
I agree. See,
Okay, cool. Are we down to our last team?
yep.
Last team.
All right, this is Greg and Ashley. First round, Dalvin Cook. Second round, Mike Evans. Third round, Philip Lindsay. Fourth round, AJ Green. Fifth round, Curtis Samuel. I'm liking this, guys. Sixth round, sorry, I'm getting old. My eyes are going. Kalen Ballage. Seventh, Jameis Winston. Eighth, Deion Lewis. Ninth, Ty Montgomery. 10th, Dante Moncrief. Well, we're going in the wrong direction now. 11th, Darren Waller. And 12th, Sam Darnold. Again, don't think Sam Darnold's necessary. Don't think Darren Waller's necessary. But at least they went with their last 2 picks on him. But again, there's only
Darren
5
Waller,
bench
they needed.
spots.
He didn't have another tight
Darren
end.
Waller's the only tight end.
Ooh, that's even worse. I must have missed that one. Ooh, that's tough.
So
That's tough.
they should have just probably not drafted anybody and just waited.
No, I guess so. I mean, if you, I admire the late round tight end, Darren Waller, and he's got upside. There's been some good stuff out of camp on him.
This,
Moncrief, Montgomery, throwaway picks, I think. Deion Lewis, it's not bad. From rounds 1 through 7, I like a lot.
this team, minus my team's Josh Gordon pick, might have the steal if he actually plays an AJ Green in the 4th in a
You got him
16
late.
That's a
team
great
league.
pick.
That was a great
And
pick.
Curtis
he
Samuel
plays-
as your wide receiver 3 is excellent. I love their first 7 rounds.
Well, yeah, they needed Curtis Samuel to balance out the AJ Green risk, but man,
Yes,
if he
which
comes
they did a
back,
great job with.
Dalvin Cook, Philip Lindsay, 2 top 24 running backs, Mike Evans, AJ Green, 2 top 24 wide receivers.
Yeah.
They built a good, solid baseline
Yep.
of points. That's a nasty combo in my opinion. If AJ Green plays, that's what it's dependent on though.
So we use Sleeper, and I'm looking at this draft board, and quarterbacks are in red. And the only team that is like non-quarterback is John and I. We didn't pick one till the 11th round. And every other team virtually, outside of you guys, Jake and Ernie.
Well, I had to. In the 7th round, Andrew Luck was the 9th
No,
quarterback
I'm not picking
pick,
on you. I'm
so-
just saying, like, we are the only 3 teams, it looks like, and Alex. So 4 teams with only 1 quarterback.
I will say though, because of the Andrew Luck risk, I immediately went and looked for a quarterback to pick up.
Yeah.
And there wasn't anybody. I have Joe Flacco right now.
But I'm telling you guys, which by the way, I'm sorry for your loss there.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you guys, it's gonna come to week 3 or 4,
And they're all going to be cut.
and they're gonna be like, "Oh, I gotta go get a running back because I have Jalen." Well, maybe that's a bad example, but let's look at that team. Oh, Ronald Jones is my RB2, and he's on a bye, and I don't want to put Royce Free. I mean, it's just weird situations that could come up that people are gonna dump the Derek Carrs or the Josh Allens of the world to get players that they have to start.
I don't think we gave that last team a rating. I give them an A-. I really like their team.
I like it from round 1 to 7. Their 5 bench spots when they come to bye weeks. I don't know that these are startable guys. Moncrief could be, but I think it's James Washington. John, I don't know if you would agree with that.
I've been higher on Washington than Moncrief. I'm not on the Moncrief Kool-Aid, so I think B plus for me.
You guys know I'm a roster construction guy. I actually really love the Curtis Samuel move. That's a power move right there. I like that because of the AJ Green situation.
the one-
I'll go with Jake. I'll go with A- on this one.
I say, well, maybe I'm being tough then B plus, but one pick I actually do like, and reports are changing. Ty Montgomery might seem like a bad pick. There's possibility of him going back to receiver.
Yeah, and I also give them
That's
probably a half a bump grade picking from 16. I think that's probably the hardest spot
That's
to
true
pick
too,
from.
man. Yeah.
So I'm giving them
Yeah.
a little credit there too. Like they,
Nope,
in
I
my
like-
opinion, had the least favorable pick.
Yeah, I like that
so
take.
I got to give them a little something there.
A- for me and Jake. John's a little tougher.
Oh,
but-
I'll go A minus. I didn't think about the
don't-
last
don't
spot.
crumble,
No, I can
don't
change.
crumble
I,
under
I'm
you
not
need to
crumbling.
stick to your takes.
No,
bro.
I totally forgot they were last pick, so they'd make back-to-back picks and then wait, 32 picks before there was their turn again? So
All right.
Listen to me.
All right, those are the grades. So before we go, I just want to take a moment to mention our GoFundMe page at gofundme.com/armchair-fantasy-football-podcast. If you guys could support us by making a donation, then sharing it with your network, we would greatly appreciate it. We know that money can be tight, so if you like what we're doing, please know that even $5 helps get us closer to our goal. We just want to keep doing this, keep the blue collar baller dream alive. We do greatly appreciate it, even if you can just share it. I see some donation stuff out there, and I'm like, I should share this more often because, I got kids. I don't necessarily have the funds to donate to it, but even sharing it definitely helps. Share it with your network. So just want to take a quick moment and I guess plug that. And I think that wraps it up for us today. This has been a pretty fun episode, and hopefully you guys like our grades. I'm sure there's a few league mates that won't, but come at me, bro. Take me down in the season. Take me down.
Belandra, we need a trade. You need a running back.
Yeah. Yes, and John and I are always open to trades.
Is there a way for us to share the draft results to Facebook? Do we know?
I'm fairly certain.
We'll try to get that so you can follow along.
You can
with
figure
it.
that out. I'm sure you can figure that out.
Oh, I was trying to pass that off.
Oh, that's one of those when people say, don't you guys hate when people say, can we do this when they mean, can you do this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I always found that very condescending.
It's called delegating.
All right. But we are the Working Class Podcast of Blue Collar Ballers, and hopefully you enjoyed this video as well, and we'll catch you next time, guys.
See you guys soon.
See you guys later.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Armchair Fantasy Football Podcast. Thanks for supporting the show. Until next time.